Okay, welcome to the video. Sig Guy here. This is just going to be a very quick base pad installation video, okay? There's many different types of base pads out there by many different manufacturers, and it's really not one size fits all, okay? Sometimes you got to do a little customization to your magazines to get them to lock on there nice and secure with the grub screw. So without further ado, let's get started. All right, before we get started, I just want to do a quick shout out to my buddy Cliff out in Oregon. He's been a long-time listener to my YouTube channel. I just wanted to let him know that I appreciate everything he does, and I wanted to thank him for his continued support. Thank you very much, Cliff. I appreciate it. Okay, so I have two different manufacturers' base pads here. I got some Armored Craft ones and some Springer Precision one. We'll talk about the Springer Precision first really quick. If you look at the Springer Precision, we have a grub screw right on the side here. That's where they put those. A lot of the other manufacturers put them in the rear. There's no rhyme or reason, just whatever works best for their design. So when we slide our base pad on that's not modified, you can see how that grub screw is not clearing the lip of my magazine, okay? And that's on purpose. It's by design. So if you go on Springer Precision's website, they got a really nice video showing you how to modify your magazine so that this will fit on there. And what they're doing is we're just removing a little bit of material from this lip here with either a file. Some people might use a Dremel tool, but be very careful with the Dremel. You want to go really slow on this. You don't want to overdo it because then you're defeating the whole purpose of this grub screw, and that purpose is a nice tight fit, okay? So if we put this grub screw way outside the boundary of the magazine, it's not going to interact with our magazine, and what's it doing? It's just kind of keeping it from sliding off, but it's not keeping it from wiggling around and stuff, okay? So anyway, we're going to remove some material here. We're going to slide it on. Okay, didn't clear it yet. Remove a little bit more. Slide it on. Didn't clear it yet. Remove a little more until it just barely clears that lip. And then we can get our grub screw to come up by that magazine. Okay, so that's the proper way to install the base pads with the grub screws. If we look at our Armory Craft one, they got theirs in the back corner over here. Okay, you can see that that edge of that magazine is not going to clear that hole. So what we need to do is take a file and file this down just a little bit. Okay. I would definitely use a file. I wouldn't use a Dremel tool on this magazine base pad installation procedure, okay? So what I did is I just took my file like this, and because our grub screw is, you know, it's not long, it's just a standard size grub screw, but because it comes up quite a bit on our magazine, we don't want to just file off this leading corner here, because this grub screw, the way it goes into the base pad, it goes in almost parallel to the magazine, okay? If it was angled out more like this, then yes, we could just get away by taking a little bit of this corner off. But if you look at when we put this in our base pad, you can see it's almost more straight up than it is coming back, okay? So we put our magazine in there, it's gonna ride up the edge here of our magazine quite a bit, okay? So I've already done this on a magazine. I'll show you that really quick. And I started off by doing just the bottom corner, and it really didn't do anything at all. It moved it out of the way, the material, but it didn't allow me to put the screw in. So what I had to do is, at first I was coming in at a pretty sharp angle like this, okay? And then what I ultimately ended up doing is coming in on a very low angle like this, right on the corner, and just running my magazine back like this. I mean, only probably had, this is a, it's not a very, it's a pretty coarse file, not super coarse, but probably 10 swipes I think I did, you know, and then that removed enough material on the edge here to allow me to install the grub screw. So this is what we're after, okay? You can see how the part down here is where I started taking off the lower edge. And then I kind of angled this sharper, did it. That still didn't fix it, so I angled it like really sharp like this, like I said. You know, about 10 swipes. And then that made this nice flat spot here. So that way when I install it on my magazine, I'll be able to get my grub screw in. Okay, as you can see, I color filled mine with a Sharpie, and you can see my hole is clear from the magazine, so I'm going to install my grub screw. A couple things here. If this is going to be living on this magazine for quite a while, I would clean your grub screw with alcohol and the hole itself to get the machining oil off of there. Put a drop of blue Loctite on there. That way when that cures, it'll prevent that from backing out for a long time, okay? Also, when we're installing our grub screw, make sure that we're going in nice and straight. We're not cross-threading anything. A lot of times these base pads are all aluminum. Sometimes they're a plastic composite. It's very easy to cross-thread or ruin the threads on the screw or the hole itself, okay? So there you go. As you can see, nice tight fit, no rattling, very good quality base pad. And that is pretty common way to install your base pads on your magazines. A lot of people think because you got to use a file, you're kind of hacking things up, when it's actually the opposite's true. You're just doing a better fit and better overall quality in a finished product. And there you have it. That is how you install base pads on the majority of these base pads on the magazines. Many different manufacturers of magazines, and they're not all the same size, same shapes. The grub screw is kind of a way to overcome the variances on the magazines. I do sell a lot of this stuff on my website, sigguy.com. If you haven't been there lately, I've added a ton of new products from all different manufacturers. Also, if you haven't subscribed to my YouTube, there should be a subscribe button right down here in the corner. If you could smash that baby, I'd really appreciate it. As always, I appreciate everybody watching. I hope this video has helped. Thank you very much, and have a good day.